Hello. For this presentation, I will be exploring the complex relationship between social media use and its effects on mental health. Despite offering instant connection and entertainment, social media is increasingly linked to mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, and social isolation. We'll look at both the positive and negative impacts and how to use social media in a way that supports mental well being. Um, and yes, my name is McKenna Kewen. So let's get started. So, firstly, social media has revolutionized the way we connect with others, offering the promise of instant communication and entertainment. While these platforms offer a sense of connection, they can leave users feeling more isolated and lonely in the long run. The vast number of studies highlighting a growing mental health crisis, particularly among adolescents, suggests that social media is contributing to deeper emotional struggles. This presentation aims to dive deeper into this issue, examining both sides of the argument. So, for social media's impact on mental health, uh, while social media creates the illusion of fulfilling our need for connection, students show it often leads to the opposite, isolation. So, the superficial nature of online interactions can intensify feelings of loneliness and further worsen existing mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. For example, users may post idealized versions of their lives, leading to unrealistic comparisons and further emotional distress. Social media can also cause negative cycles where the search for validation through likes and comments becomes an unhealthy source of self-worth. So for the next slide, we're going to look into the pros and cons of social media, starting off with the pros. So, like any technology, social media has both positive and negative aspects. On the positive side, it helps people stay connected, especially across distances, and provides a platform for self expression. It can help users develop social skills and build communities, particularly for those who may otherwise feel isolated. However, on the con side, excessive use or unhealthy engagement can lead to anxiety, depression, and a lack of meaningful face to face communication or relationships. The key is recognizing how social media is used and ensuring it doesn't replace real human connection. And they are also seen as a threat. So, bigger platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have all faced social or class action lawsuits, and we'll get into that later on. But let's get into what is mental health. So, mental health is defined as a state of well being where individuals can cope with the normal stresses of life, realize their abilities, and contribute to their communities. Good mental health is fundamental to living a fulfilling life, and it also helps us learn, work, and build meaningful relationships. So that's definitely a necessity. So, in regards to research, we'll take a look at Fazita Carmen's research. She's a researcher in the field of social media and mental health and conducted a systematic review of 16 studies on this topic. Her findings highlighted that anxiety and depression were the most commonly measured mental health outcomes related to social media use. Some of the key risk factors identified included the time spent on social media, the times of activities users engage in, such as passive scrolling or active engagement, and addiction to these platforms. So these findings underscore the growing concern that excessive social media can contribute to mental health decline. Righty. And then as for the negative emotional outcomes, the more time people spend on these platforms, especially engaging in passive behaviors like scrolling through posts without interacting, the more likely they are to experience negative emotions, like the anxiety and depression that we talked about previously. So, studies show that the constant comparison to others' curated lives can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and self doubt. These outcomes suggest that prolonged or unhealthy use of social media can have a significant impact on mental health. So you saw a little preview of the next slide, but we'll get into that. So this is a specific study that goes into depth on the concern of social media addiction, specifically for the youth. So research indicates a strong association between social media use and negative mental health outcomes. So the American Psychological Association and other health organizations have raised concerns about this connection, particularly in younger populations. So, although the exact cause and effect relationship remains uncertain, the correlation between increased social media use and mental health decline is very troubling. So, like I mentioned earlier, there has been government action. So, New York City has taken unprecedented action by declaring social media platforms as a public health threat. This legal challenge aims to hold companies accountable for their role in youth mental health crisis, urging them to improve their safety and well being. So, this marks a significant step in the ongoing debate about the responsibility of social media companies. So, going on to the positive side, despite the negative aspects, some studies, such as the work by Michelle O'Reilly, specifically emphasizes the potential benefits of social media. So, O'Reilly suggests that social media can reduce feelings of isolation and help users develop social skills. For example, social media can provide a vital platform for ongoing communication, allowing people to maintain relationships and make new connections. For adolescents who are still developing social and emotional skills, online interactions can play a role in preventing mental health issues, particularly in reducing social isolation. So, this is going to go more in depth on how to properly use social media. So, we can engage with social media in a mindful and healthy way, ensuring that we take advantage of the benefits without falling into emotional dependence, which is a huge factor in how social media has an effect on the mental health. It is essential to recognize that routine use, when balanced, can lead to positive mental health outcomes. So, the key is to make social media a tool for connection, not a source of anxiety or emotional fulfillment. Focus on meaningful interactions and curate your feed to prioritize positive content that supports your well being. It's also crucial to be mindful of how often we turn to social media when we're feeling vulnerable. So, if checking social media becomes a habit to avoid discomfort, that could also lead to a negative impact on your mental health. So, limiting emotional attachment to social media is essential for maintaining a balanced mental health. So, in regards to balance, here is the impact of balance in social media. So, the impact of social media on mental health is highly dependent on how it is used. So, a balanced approach is essential for mitigating the risk associated with excessive or unhealthy use. So, kind of piggybacking off of the last slide. But as for key takeaways, in conclusion, social media has both positive and negative effects on mental health. While it offers a platform for connection, entertainment, and self expression, excessive or unhealthy use can contribute to anxiety and feelings of isolation. So, like we discussed, mindfulness is key, balance is essential, awareness of its impact, meaning that we have to recognize when social media use is becoming detrimental to your mental health and adjust accordingly from there. By being mindful of how we engage with these platforms, we can ensure that they support our well-being rather than harming it. Um, but yep, so here is so we're excited. But thank you and have a great day.